What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of All American Sports Network. Today, we are going to jump in on what happened around the league and the NFL. We're going to break down the following scores, the takeaways, upsets, you name it, we're going to do it. Now, I'm sorry about I did not get in more into the what was going on with my usual college breakdown, but that will be sometime. Hopefully, put that up sometime in the morning. But with that being said, we're going to jump into this and get started right away about what is going on and talk about everything that's going on in the league. So, with that, without further ado, let's jump into this right here and right now. So far we are going to talk about the NFL season. It has so far so good. Has not been a disappointment. People are ready to uh, enjoy the festivities, and they enjoying it a lot so far. So on week 4, the 2021 NFL season has already been seeing some exciting finishes, like the Giants upset the Saints in overtime. Not to mention, too, you got the Jets held their own in overtime, and they beat the Titans. Zach Wilson earned his first win in the NFL. You got another rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, got the Bears back to .500 on the season. Washington pulled off a big comeback in the fourth quarter against the Falcons. And the Browns held the Vikings to 7 points to move to 3-1. So it was an exciting day. So let's go over first and foremost to Green Bay and Pittsburgh. That's right. The Packers visit Pittsburgh. It was the score wound up being 27-17. Aaron Rodgers wanted his wide receiver Randall Cobb back, but for the third down, for the conversion, the first 4 times Rodgers went to Cobb on the third down, they turned into first downs. He had 3 downs, conversion catches of 8 and 12 yards of the drive that ended with Rodgers' 4-yard touchdown scramble. You had Cobb's 23-yard touchdown catch in the second quarter, came on 3rd and 10. He then had a 25-yarder on a post to convert a 3rd and 7 on the opening drive of the second half. Cobb's first non-third down catch. Let me see here. Yeah, third down catch of the game came in the third quarter. And then when he caught a 1-yard touchdown pass on the first and goal to put the Packers ahead 27-10 in the third quarter. It was Cobb's first game with 2 touchdown catches since 2015. Cobb's 5-catch, 69-yard, 2-touchdown game came a day after the Packers placed receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling on the injured reserve. Now, the Packers needed this kind of production from Cobb until Marquez Valdez-Scantling can come back from the hamstring injury and perhaps even after. Now, we got to ask, will Mason Crosby ever miss again? Perhaps only a breakdown in protection can do in Crosby. His 2 field goals on Sunday gave him 24 straight makes. That's a franchise record dating to last season. But the Packers better work on their operation because Crosby's game winner from the 51-yard against the 49ers was nearly blocked. And then on Sunday, the Steelers actually did block one and returned it for a touchdown, only to have it called back because Joe Hayden lined up off sides. Now, Packers special teams coordinator Maurice Drayton said last week that the Packers had an ideal operation time of between 1.25 seconds to 1.28 seconds if they pull it off in that time frame. Drayton said it's almost, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's pretty much impossible for a guy to go get there off the edge. We will be strong inside and out, inside out, and let those guys will come off the edge. So that's where the Steelers came from on their block. that Minka Fitzpatrick returned a 75-yard touchdown. That did not count. But you can't really say that Demovsky confidence rating really changed because it's still about average of 7.5. The Steelers, especially being Roethlisberger, are a shadow of their former selves. The Packers did what they needed to do. If you thought they were a good team before Sunday, then they still are. If you thought they still had things to prove, then they still do. I already knew they were a decent team. I just know there were some things they had to get worked out. Now, the next game for the Packers is going to be the Bengals. I think Aaron Rodgers will be in good hands on that game. I think that should be an easy W for the Packers because the Bengals still got a young quarterback that is still trying to learn the ropes. Now, let's get back to the Steelers. Now, what we know about the Steelers offense is that it hasn't done in 13 weeks by scoring a touchdown on an opening drive. But that was the only thing different about a clunky, stagnant offense in Sunday's loss. Uh, Even the third quarter, fourth down play, a swing pass to Najee Harris was a repeat of the same old that failed against the Bengals a week earlier. It lost a yard, and Ben Roethlisberger became the only quarterback in the last 20 seasons to lose yardage on multiple fourth down completions in the same season, per ESPN stats and info. And Roethlisberger still looked out of sync with his receivers, including Juju Smith-Schuster, who he missed twice on overthrows that could have turned into a touchdown. The Steelers weren't pressing the panic button after the back-to-back losses in week 2 and 3, but they should be thinking about it after. Thank you. After yet another loss where the club didn't appear to make any effective changes. So how can they get the defense back on track? I mean, the Steelers got to pull off the week 1 upset. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that, they were able to do to the defense, figuring out how to confuse the Bills and the scheme that they rarely blitz. But since then, they've been giving up like big plays to both the Raiders and the Bengals in consecutive losses. And the pass rush has been as effective. Now, against the Packers, the Steelers got more pressure on Aaron Rodgers and then they did on Joe Burrow a week earlier without T.J. Watts and Alex Highsmith. But the Rodgers has a handful in the rushing game led by A.J. Dillon and the Aaron Jones gashed the Steelers for 129 yards combined. So when it all said and done, you got Pryor's conference level. I would say they said it's at a 3. I'm not going to say it's at a 3. I think his confidence level is really, I would say, at an even 4. But it's still not good because the Steelers aren't showing no improvements and they appear more comfortable repeating mistakes than learning from them. And not to mention, too, I still say it and I say it again, that Ben Roethlisberger need to retire. His glory days is over. Ben is on the slow decline for a minute. I've been saying this, people been saying this for years now. The last 2 or 3 years, we've seen it. And it's starting to be an eyesore. And just being facts, man. Let somebody younger, sharper come in, rebuild the Steelers, and let them be the team they used to be. I'm just saying, man. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. They'll go against the Broncos, which will be Sunday, and I hate to say it, but I don't see them winning that. Now, moving on to Baltimore versus Denver, which we already knew it was a Ravens game. Lamar Jackson just led them to victory. He didn't do it without a running game. The mentality for opposing defenses had been he stopped Baltimore's run game and you stopped the Ravens offense. But Jackson, who practiced only once this past week with their back injury, showed he can carry the offense with his arm, continually stretching the field and finished with 316 yards passing. It's the second 300-yard passing game of Jackson's career. And I'm glad that he's proven that because a lot of people were starting to think that Lamar Jackson was a one-dimensional quarterback, but he's not. I knew he had it in him. We've seen him do a 300-plus pass before. He just got to keep it up. He's got to keep being versatile. so that way he can keep confusing the defense. So that way they're like, all right, if I stop the run game, I also got to stop his aerial offense. One way or the other, we got to stop him at all levels of the ball. And you keep a defense on his toes like that, you're going to win a lot of games on the offensive line. Now, the decisive strike for Jackson came in the second quarter. And when he threw a 49-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Hollywood Brown, taking bigger shots downfield. It has been a focus all season for Jackson, who led the NFL with 14.3 yards per completion entering the game. So I'm happy for him. Now, everybody want to know one thing. Will anyone step up to become the Ravens lead backs? Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman said entering this game that the Ravens are just starting to get a feel of our running backs, but the backfield remains in flux. And after making starter Tyson Williams inactive, Latavius Murray managed 59 yards on 18 carries, and Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman combined for 15 yards on the first 5 attempts. Now, the Ravens have been trying to find someone to take over the featured back role since top backs J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards suffered season-ending knee injuries within the weeks of the start of the regular season. All the blame can't be placed on a running back because Baltimore is on its third left tackle just 4 games into the season. Andre Smith is a practice squad promotion, filled in for Alejandro Villanueva, that's got a knee and who has been filling in for Rodney Stanley. So hopefully, they can figure that out on the back end. But besides that, the conference rating, I think it went up. They said up to an 8. I think it went up to an 8.5 because the Ravens came into the Denver and they knocked out one of the 5 unbeaten teams in the NFL, and they banged up Baltimore team is 3-1 and tied atop the AFC North despite playing 3 of its first 4 games on the road. And not to mention, too, they're doing it with a beat-up team. And when you got a beat-up team full of injuries, it's very difficult to keep a momentum. It really is. It's very difficult to keep a momentum. I mean, it's just really hard. Really, really, really is. Now, here's the thing. The Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater, they had a rough game, because he had a concussion. Then they slipped into some of the same bad habits that plagued them in 2020, and it happens. And after Bridgewater left the game, Drew Lock was behind center, and the team was in catch-up mode. It felt like the struggles of last season. The Broncos had been efficient and productive on offense in their first 3 games. The Ravens were upgrade in competition, but the Broncos made some odd choices. They abandoned the run game in the second quarter after they had rushed for 73 yards in the first quarter, and they were playing 2 backup guards who are far more proficient as running blockers than in pass protection. Bridgewater was sacked twice and took multiple heavy hits, including the one that knocked him from the game. I'm going to say it like this. They should have stuck with the running game. If you stick with the running game, you can always, every time, you can always guarantee that your offense, you're going to weaken the defense. I don't, and everything else. I mean, and that's facts. All right, y'all, I'm back. Had to take a little mini break. But anyway, what we know the offense is that Bridgewater misses time. Decision to go with the 3 wide receiver set, open formation with 2 backup guards against the blitz happy Ravens will need a second look. especially if Locke is going to have to play multiple weeks. The Broncos won 3 games with defense and efficiency. Bridgewater fueled that efficiency with his game decision making and patience. Working his way into the game was short completions. Until the big play presents itself, the Broncos and Locke will have to show that kind of patience in the play calling if they want to succeed if Bridgewater misses more time. So their confidence rating after seeing that game, I would say ESPN says 6.5 from a 7.8. I'm going to say a confidence rating to me be about a 6 point. I think it's about a little bit high. I give them it went down about a 6.8. I would say a whole point, not more than a point. I say about 6.8. And with the injury, they're just going to have to step it up, and they're going to have to learn how to prioritize and have alternatives when they don't have their key piece like Bridgewater in the game. Now, they will go against the Steelers, and again, I'm looking for them to win that game next Sunday. And that is facts. Now, let's go on to Seattle versus San Francisco. I'm so glad that Seattle won. They really needed this. You know what I mean? They really did. And I don't know whatever happened on the second half Sunday, but Russell Westbrook made a pair of vintage Wilson. Um, Russell Wilson, it's not Westbrook. Russell Wilson made a pair of vintage Wilson plays, and running back Alex Collins gave the offense a spark after it started, which was also good with 5 straight 3-and-outs, tying for the most under Coach Pete Carroll. Now that's a plus. A strong defensive performance helped the Seahawks avoid the first 3-game losing streak of Wilson era. So thank God for that. Now, can the defense hold up against better quarterback, let's say Matthew Stafford? Well, Thursday night's game against Stafford and the Rams will be a tougher test for the Seahawks defense than the one it got Sunday when it faced an inconsistent Jimmy Garoppolo and an inexperienced Trey Lance, who saw his most extended action after taking over in the second half. Sidney Jones replaced Trey Flowers in the starting lineup, and move that felt inevitable after Flowers struggled the past 2 games, but Jones allowed an early touchdown pass and was up and down. So that is still a suspect position for Seattle, especially when Stafford and the Rams' strong receiver corps belong in time. All right, y'all give me one more. So now, with that being said and breaking down that takeaways, we can say that their rating this was 7.3, which gave him a good upstart. Now, with the 49ers, they facing some serious issues in a loaded NFC West, which we're not surprised because there's a lot of people in the NFC West, man, this year, okay? And Jimmy Garoppolo departed Sunday's game at halftime with a right calf injury. Then you had the rookie Trey Lance had to take over, who's inexperienced, but he showed some of the playmaking ability. The 49ers coveted him in, and he finished 9 of 18 for 157 yards with 2 touchdowns and 41 yards on 7 carries. What happened next would depend on Garoppolo's health, but if he doesn't return in short order, some growing pains and a paired offense with Lance are likely in the offense. So it's just shocking to see that the 49ers were at a Super Bowl contender, and they went from that to now they going through a whole lot of growing pain this season. So I think their confidence down, and I agree with ESPN at 5.8. Now, Arizona 37 and Rams 20. I was shocked on that. And right now, Arizona Cardinals is the only team that's 4-0. And when you beating the Rams, that's saying something, man. So Cal Murray should be proud of himself. I don't know what got into him this year. The league's best offenses, which they now average 35 points per game. That defense held the Rams offense with an averaging 31.7 points to 20. It was Arizona's first win over the Rams in 4 years. It's crazy, man. I mean, it's like they undefeated. I don't know what's going on over there with the Rams, man. They only allow like 53 in the final 3 quarters, bro. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And they only gave up 68 yards in the first quarter. So, oh, man. Hey, they say their confidence at 9.2 for 8.5. Fuck that. Memphis confidence is at a 10. They should be at a 10. Like, real talk. This team is on something else, man. For real. And then their next game is going to be against the 49ers. 49ers, I hate to tell you, you ain't going to win that. I don't see it. Now, Rams on the other end, well, you know, they got beat. It ain't that bad, you know. You know, it happens. I mean, I would say they're down from 9 to 8. I think they're down for like an 8.5. They'll be all right. I think that they just got to learn for this and use this as momentum to prepare for the Seahawks. Now, when they go against the Seahawks, I hope the Seahawks going to be ready because the Rams is not going to be in the best of spirits because Matthew Stafford is going to be on some, I got to win now. Now, the Jets, the rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson, he put on a show in the fourth quarter. He showed his arm talent. He gave 53-yarder to Corey Davis, and they just beat Tennessee, man. Pretty good. So they got to go against the Falcons. I think the Jets can beat the Falcons, so that would give them a boost. So that give them a little bit of confidence. The Titans, well, you know, they having some struggle pains. I mean, they still got the threat of Derrick Henry, who's running the ball inside the 20-yard line, but need to do, you know, take advantage of Tannehill's ability to run the ball with more boot action. But they'll be going against the Jaguars. They'll win that. Washington going against Atlanta. Very good game. Atlanta had this game, man. And they allowed Washington to come back and beat their ass. Oh, my God. That is sad. Taylor Hinkie, man, just came in there. And 45 minutes, you know, the game-winning play to J.D. McKiskey sums him up. So Hinkie extended the play by rolling left, playing poised, and hit Kissick on the other side for a 30-yard catch and run score. So they got a little confidence up. They're up to 5. You know, they still the 28. They allowed the 28th offense to score 30 points. So they still got a little stuff they got to win. So they just got to do what they got to do. They go against the Saints. If they do good against the Saints, I think their confidence will go up probably to about a 6.5. The Falcons, man, it's just a lot to unpack. It's too much. They got a lot to work on over there. Only thing I can say is that Cordell Patterson is probably the most reliable option of the Falcons offense because Patterson had a monster game against Washington as the first running back in franchise history with 3 touchdown catches in a game. And that's about it, man. I mean, you had Calvin Ridley had 11 targets and everything else. So they'll go against the Jets. And at this point, I see the Jets beating them. New York Giants against New Orleans, something that the quarterback Daniel Jones needed for this franchise. Maybe they did figure it out. I don't want to say for sure. They had a 485 total yard game. They had the rookie Kadarius Toney being a major part of the offense, and then they had who had 6 catches for 78 yards. And then they helped out Kenny Galladay, who had 6 catches for 116 yards. So I think they're figuring it out. I really do think they're figuring it out. And they might do all right. Oh, well, they got to go against the Cowboys. So I don't see them winning that. Saints, I keep telling everybody, Jameis Winston is not reliable. He's not consistent. We keep talking about this. He's not. He wasn't consistent in Tampa Bay. He has never been a consistent quarterback. He's just not. I just do not see him being the next big thing. And when he goes to Washington, I would not be surprised if Washington go and stomp him out because he keeps losing the teams that he should be beating. Man, this pissed me off. That's my other team. Carolina did try to do everything they could, but Cowboys are just too much, man. Cowboys just show who they are. I mean, Dak Prescott had a 4-touchdown game. Ezekiel Elliott had over 100 yards, and I thought Ezekiel Elliott was done for, but I digress. I give him his respect. And then you got Trayvon Diggs too, who also did well. So they had a good time, man. I mean, they really are becoming that team. So I'm telling you now, this probably pushed all Cowboys fans to a 9. They feel like they invincible now. Now, when it comes to the Panthers, they had a reality check. They found out that they got a lot of work to do. They crumble under the blitz. Their offense is not the best. We keep talking about it. Their offense is not the best at all. So I think they went down to 6.2. That's what ESPN said from 6.9. I'm going to say they probably went down further than that. They probably had a 6 even. I mean, they got enough talent to do something with the Eagles, the Vikings, the Giants, and the Falcons, but those are weak schedules. So to me, having a weak schedule is not going to make them a real superior threat. Buffalo Bills just ran all over Houston. That's all we need to know. I ain't even going in detail about that. Texas, y'all already know. They got the worst offense in the NFL without a decent quarterback. Chicago 24, the Detroit 14, and the Lions, as you know, are still somewhat struggling. You got Cleveland 14, Minnesota 7. The Cleveland Browns, it's proven that it's getting there. Minnesota Vikings, they up and down. They trying to figure it out. The Indianapolis Colts 27, Miami 17. The Dolphins, well, we already know about the Dolphins. Again, up and down, up and down. They go against the Buccaneers, so we already know they're going to get destroyed. Kansas City came back and spanked behind on Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Mahomes was doing his normal like he always do, so that confidence is coming back up. Eagles is looking like a bunch of mess. Cincinnati beat Jacksonville, Joe Burrows, man, he's starting to figure the game out. Boy, coming out like it ain't nothing. Trevor, on the other hand, speaking of that, maybe it's because, Urban Meyer was too busy hanging out with them college girls at the bar. Maybe that what messed up the game. Either way it goes, that is all the scores for now. I will report tomorrow morning about what's going on with our Buccaneers. You get what I'm saying? So please like, share, subscribe. Please like, share, subscribe. Get into the comment section, guys. Tell me, who do you think had a reality check out of all the scores this week? And who do you think out of your team should be a threat that everybody should be looking out for to go all the way and win the Super Bowl on week 4 of the NFL? Please like, share, subscribe. I'm out.